Hello and welcome to another Bringing the Thunder. That's right, we are bringing the thunder with another Kata nice tutorial exercise within Data Miner, and I have a new face standing next to me, and we'll start with the usual, a small introduction. So, Wouter, I do know you of course, but for everyone watching, who are you and what do you do here at Skyline?
Well, I work as a DevOps engineer, the platform delivery domain.
Yes.
Where I'm responsible for DAS.
For DAS. So
yeah,
something really important, because
yes.
I think in most of the katas, we've been using a lot of the things that you have been working on in the background, pretty much.
That's correct. Yes.
Very awesome.
We manage the infrastructure that is hosting our DAS system.
That's really fun. So, so we've gotten you pulled out of the basement where you're doing so much important work on all of these foundations, and we've got you standing here in the spotlight today because you've got something very fun to show us. So what do you have for us? What's the topic of today?
The topic of today, so we're going to take a look at services, Jan.
Services?
And specifically, we're going to take a look at how, with services, we can provide a customer-centric view on our system.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, excited to get started. Are there any prerequisites, anything you need to install or have? Specific data miner version? I'm going to guess data miner version is probably fine. I've heard of services before. I think they've been in there for,
yes, I don't know how long, but they're
in there for a while.
Yeah, indeed.
But you can probably start from a DAS, I guess.
Yes. So I also have spun up a DAS here for this this Kata today. I do have a package that you can deploy from the catalog.
Yeah.
So let's
have a look. Just as a prerequisite, happens a lot indeed with most katas. There's a small package to install, gives us some elements or views or protocols or anything.
Yeah. So on the catalog we have this package.
Providing a customer-centric system view with services. Okay.
Yes.
A very clear
name, yeah.
Well, it's a clear name on what we're about to do.
Yeah,
so
indeed.
Amazing. So we can deploy that one.
We can just deploy it. Gonna click here. Make sure that you're on the correct organization here where your DAS is deployed.
Yes.
So I have my Kata services system here, and I'm just gonna deploy this.
All right.
And I'm gonna switch back to
the actual agent.
The cube, and if everything goes well, we should see
some
services and elements pop up here.
Yeah, cool.
So we have here the services tutorial view. It has been added, and in there also 2 additional views. So maybe I will start with the first view that we see here, the data sources.
Data sources, yeah.
So because when you build a data miner system, that's mostly what you start with. You start with your data sources, your digital twin.
As your elements.
Yeah. So that's what you start from. And we have here some IRDs, some receiver elements. And also a switch element. So we're gonna, in this kata, we will be stepping in the shoes of a broadcast company.
Yes.
That will, provide, television channels.
Yeah,
broadcasting, to their customers.
Yeah. And we've got these IRDs who are representing, like you said so nicely, the digital twin of what's actually, the hardware and the devices and the server. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. So they kind of take in a signal that will be used to broadcast and the actual channel. Right?
Yeah, perfect.
And the switch will be used later on in the exercise to mimic like the routing of
these signals.
Yeah. So if we focus on this, so let's open this view. You can already see actually in this array as well that we have a couple of elements that are in alarm. Right?
Yes.
So you see we have 2 elements.
Yep.
Let's go to the details here. And if I sort them by alarm state, you can see I have 2 elements.
Major, 2 normal. Okay.
2 major or elements with a major alarm state.
Yes.
And both of them have 1 alarm. So if you look at these from a data source perspective, from an element perspective, on alarm level, they look the same. So there's no real difference. So imagine that you see this and you have one technician available that needs to go in the field and fix one of these.
Okay.
Based on these, would you know which one maybe to pick first have like...
Yeah, no, there's no way to know which one would have priority.
No.
So both of them are set to me. If one of them was critical, yes.
Yes.
But both of them are major.
Yeah. And only one alarm. So
yeah, and if you only have one guy who has to drive around or has to get to the devices or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You're going to fix that for us, right?
I'm going to fix that. Indeed. That's correct. So this Kata is about services and a customer-centric view. So we're going to put like a layer on top of those elements. And so, and with that layer, we will be able to make better decisions on which one of these elements is more important to our service offerings.
Yeah, adding a bit more information or, I'm not going to call it metadata. It's more like, just adding some information about the context.
Yeah.
Contextual information.
Yeah, that's a good thing to
cool.
to
okay.
Yeah, indeed. So if you would go to our alarms now. So I'm gonna go to the alarms that are here. So you can see here we have our two alarms. And actually, if you take a closer look now, because I have added these television channels here. So I didn't show this yet, but if I open it, you can see I have added some services that represent the channels. And you can actually see here in the alarm list that there is a column available. Let me just hide the surveyor for just a moment.
Okay.
Which actually shows here the service impact.
Okay.
And the list of services that are impacted. So you can actually see here that the element in Manchester is impacting one service in the TLC channel, while the other one is impacting 3 services.
And that's a standard column, or do you need to show or enable that? Or it's always visible in an alarm?
By default, the default settings have it enabled.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can hide it, but default
it's enabled.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, indeed. So if you have this, you probably will say, okay, maybe it's best to have a look at the London one first because it impacts 3 services, and also maybe, depending on what you like to watch, the more important services because it's all the BBC services
it does,
that are
it gives you that
impacted.
context that you were missing without it.
Yeah. So that's one of the first things that are that you can use services for.
Perfect.
So that's one thing. For the other thing, we will do a little exercise. So we have a tutorial.
Hands-on. There we go.
Yeah, indeed. We have a tutorial prepared for this. So let me open my surveyor again. And what we're going to do now is, if you have a television channel and you have your input signal, that's it could be that you have like a backup signal when you're the signal on your first site
if it would go down, it should go to the backup or
you
using
can, like,
different devices or some kind of fallback failover mechanism.
Something along that line, indeed. Towards your customer doesn't really care where it's coming from. So he just wants to watch his television show.
There should not be a massive thing that says running through main, through backup.
It should not be the case. So from a customer perspective, because that's what we're talking about here, if you want to look at that television channel within DataMiner, you just want to know what is the status of this service for my customer.
Yes.
So what we can do is we can include in our service that specific data source that is in use. So if you have 2 input signals, that you only include the one that is currently in use. Okay,
so kind of dynamically changing what is included in a service. Pretty much. So you can say, okay, only the active ones will be in this service. And if it would swap, then it would automatically change it in the service.
And you always have like a view on the how your service is doing, regardless of the infrastructure that's providing the service.
Cool. All right.
So that's what we're going to do now.
Nice. That's the objective, the goal.
That's the goal indeed. So, we're going to,
how do we begin?
Yeah. So we're going to start by creating a service. So go to our TV channels, view here. So we're going to right click, go to new, service, and we're going to, create a new service for a new TV channel.
Okay.
So I'm going to stay in the BBC, section. So I'm going to call it the BBC Sports, for example.
All right.
You can define a description if you like. Then we can go to the next page, or you can also just click on the parameters header here.
There, yes.
Then we need to add our elements to our service.
Okay.
So what we will do is we take two receiver elements, and based on the position of a switch here, so we have this switch element.
You want to either include it or not.
Yeah.
If I'm following. Yeah.
Yeah, that's indeed what I would like to accomplish. So we have a switch site selection here, which you can set to site 1 or site 2.
Okay.
So based on this, we will include one
or the other element.
Yeah. So we will add our elements. So I'm going to use the one from London and the one from Manchester. So these are basically my two sites where I have a potential signal coming from for my channel. So I can start configuring this.
Yeah, because if you do it like this, then they just both be in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can show you. So if I already create this, because it's perfectly viable.
It is a valid way of doing it. You'll just have a service that has both of those.
Yeah.
But that's not what we want,
That's not what we want. So now we can see if you go to the surveyor here, you have the BBC Sports. Both are included. Also, if you go to the service card, both are included.
All right.
But that's not what we want, because only one of them is actually providing this signal.
Yeah.
So let's go back and let's edit. So you can go to this menu here, go to edit, and then we go back to the parameters page here.
And continue the configuration from there.
Yes. So first of all, so you click on one of the elements here, and on the right, you can then configure it.
Okay.
So we can give it an alias. That's better. That's to,
it's kind of a nickname.
Kind of a nickname to identify what the element is. So I'm just gonna assume that my London element here is the one from site 1. So just call it site 1. Yeah. Just so it matches a bit with the description on the switch element, so it's clear.
It's readability and clarity of
you can either include all the parameters from your element, or you can also decide to only include specific parameters.
Okay.
For example, if you have a switch and you only use one port for a specific channel,
you might want to filter to just see the information that is intended for that one
for
port.
That specific one. Yeah. So just to show how this works, if you uncheck the box here, you have a list of all the parameters from the element, and you select one of the parameters. And for example, if I pick audio output level here, then only this parameter will be included in my service.
Okay.
Then we talked about we will dynamically include it. So we need to configure the next item here. So by default, our element is always included as it is also here configured. But we want it to be included based on a certain condition.
Yes.
So we select in the second option, which will include it. And the condition is based on this parameter here, the switch.
From that switch
site selection.
Yeah.
So we're going to configure that. So we will add a condition based on parameter value, which is coming from the switch element. And I select my parameter here, switch site selection.
Okay.
And this is my site 1. So I will pick site 1 as the value.
I see. Okay.
And I will do the same, of course, for...
But then not the opposite. You're going to say site 2.
Site 2, yeah.
And then that one should be included.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also just pick the same parameter.
Just configuring it like that, saying include will also handle the exclusion then?
Yes, because you say, okay, include it when this condition is true.
And if it's not,
if it's not,
it knows in the background.
Yeah, it knows that it will have to,
all right,
not include it, so exclude.
Yeah. Perfect.
So
okay, so we're selecting the site again,
and here we pick site 2.
Yes.
So if we apply this configuration, you will see that some things are happening here.
Yes.
If you look at the surveyor, you can see
only one of them is in.
Only one of them is in there.
So objective kind of, maybe achieved. We still need to test.
Of course, but we see at site 1.
Yes.
And if we look at the switch here, it's set to site 1. So that's okay. And on the service card, you can see that my site 2 element is excluded. So it's marked as excluded.
Okay. So it's still visible there, but it's just kind of marked as,
So on the service card, you will always still see it because you need to kind of know on your service how it's configured. But like if you look in the surveyor, it's not there.
All right. And I also see there's only one parameter there. That's the one
that we configured in it. Yeah. So now if I switch to site 2, you will see that it indeed switched to site 2, and then the other one is excluded.
Now, is that maybe a silly question, but that's why I'm here? Is that the element card that is open, or is that a specific view for the service? Like if you click on under your service on that element, will you see everything, or will you only see that parameter?
If I click on the what did I click on?
I don't know. But if you click on
it switched to this one.
Okay.
No, if I click on this one, it will open inside the, so this is the service card actually.
Okay. So it knows that this is an element that is part of the service. So it will open that specific view that was configured with that parameter.
Within the service. Yeah.
I see.
Indeed.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
That is correct.
Great. And we tested it. Seems to toggle just fine.
Yeah. So let me just make this a bit smaller again. It toggled. Now you can see, so our service is now running fine. It's green.
Yeah.
So everyone is happy. But the excluded site is actually, it still has a major alarm.
Yeah.
That we don't know about. So we cannot see it if we look at the alarm of the service.
Yeah, because it's the active one is kind of being used.
Yeah.
To show what alarm level is in the element inside of it. Okay.
So now if you would at some point want to switch back to site 1, then you kind of have a problem.
Oh yeah, because you're not aware that there's a major, so you're going to switch it to something that's kind of broken.
Yeah. That's kind of the thing that will happen. So what we can do is instead of excluding it, we will always include both elements, but we will make sure that we still have some impact of this alarm on our service.
Okay.
So we'll kind of,
So the original goal achieved, but going into the next step, an obvious problem showing up is that the other alarm is not getting taken into account.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to try and fix now.
Yeah, indeed.
Makes sense.
So we will edit our service. So again, in the menu here, we can go to edit, go to our parameters and select the first element. So we no longer want to include it based on a condition. We always want to include it. So we just select always here.
Okay.
And then the other option is that once included, we say the element will influence the severity of the alarm.
Okay.
And here we can use the same condition as we used previously. So we will also base it on that switch site selection. So it will become clear when it's finished how this will actually react. So we'll just stay clear of the other one there.
All right. So we're adding site 1 again as a condition, but now we're using the other option.
Yeah.
Instead of just include, exclude, we're saying always include, but with the second thing, now we're configuring something with the alarming that will see what the behavior is in just a moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just gonna do it like this. So I'm gonna apply this. just to see what the difference is between the inclusion and the exclusion.
Yeah, it's already quite obvious and clear.
Yeah. So now something else or something changed.
Yes.
So both of the elements are in our service.
Yes.
But the second one, you see, it's grayed out.
Yes. Yes.
So it's also, it says here now, not in use, while it said excluded before.
Okay.
And you can also see the site 1 has an alarm. We still know that, and it has a major alarm.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see this, there's like a small arrow. It's a green arrow, pointing upwards here.
Okay.
And that green arrow is what we call alarm capping in a service.
All right.
And it means that every, not every, like the severity of the element in the service, that we will cap the alarm to a certain level. So in this case, to the normal level. So basically, we will not see the alarm in the service.
Right.
So we kind of have,
right.
If you don't look at what's in the service, you kind of have the same behavior for the alarm on the service at this point.
Yeah. So concerning the alarm level of the service, it's the exact same behavior as include exclude currently, because we're still only seeing it's green, because the only active element now, or in use element, I suppose, is just a green one.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
So, if you just look at the service alarm, it's the same.
Okay.
But now we want to change it because we want to know about this alarm.
Yes.
So, we go back and edit our service. And then we go to our element again. And now we take a look at the bottom options, the advanced options. And I mentioned about we call it capping of the alarm.
Yeah.
And we will need the bottom one, which is the maximum severity that an element can have when it's not used.
Okay.
Which is the case in our
Yeah, in this case, it seems to standard or default be set to normal.
Yeah. So that we don't have.
Okay.
Yeah. But we can change this. And you could say, for example, if my element is not in use, let's just make sure that I still see a warning alarm. So that I'm aware that there's like a warning, be careful, there is something on the service that is not entirely
okay. That means even if it's a major or a critical, it'll show up as a warning because you've capped it at that level. Yeah. So, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let me also configure this for the second element and then apply this configuration. And as you can see now,
the service has gone into a warning state.
So you can now see that this arrow here is blue. So we have a major alarm, but it's capped at a warning level. And so you can see, if you then would look into your service, you could see, oh, it's because the element that I'm not using actually has an alarm, which could potentially, if I want to use it later,
have an impact. It doesn't necessarily have an impact now, which is why we've considered this as a warning in our setup here. But it will cause an impact if something were to happen to the main device or the main IRD.
So if you would now want to solve this, you could go into the service. You would see, okay, it's this one here. Okay, my parameter is an alarm. I could fix it.
Okay.
And let me fix it. Here you go. I fixed it, and now
that was quick.
Now my service is all fine. It's all normal.
Yeah. And then the warning indeed has disappeared there. Okay, very cool feature.
So yeah, that's basically what I had for you today.
I mean, it's a very beautiful tutorial, and it's a very useful thing as well. I think it also made sense. It made a lot of sense to me. You know, the include exclude. At first you think that's all we need, but it's pretty obvious shortly after doing that you're going to miss out on some things like those warnings and errors. So, very nice tutorial. Well, for everyone watching, I think we'll want a screenshot of something here so you can get some DevOps points. So, what should we let them take a screenshot of? Maybe the service edit or something?
Yeah, you can just, if you edit the service and you send like a screenshot of the of this page, like the configuration, then that would be
for everyone watching. Take a screenshot of, the editing of that service, with the parameters open, and then we'll give you some DevOps points. Other than that, thank you very much for preparing everything. Always takes a bit of time to do, but well appreciated. Again, a very nice feature. Thank you very much. Everyone watching, I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you can use it anywhere you need. And for everyone watching on YouTube, don't forget, ring that bell, like and subscribe so you're always aware of any new videos we put out. So I think that about covers it. So we'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.